now being recorded and admitting everybody in. We can still start at 5 though, okay?
Excellent. I'll just say hello. Good evening, families. Thank you so much for joining us.
And I'll keep an eye on the chat box, and we'll bring up questions as they come about.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Metzner. And we're gonna just give it until 5 o'clock to get started, just to see if there's any final families who could join us. Hi, Dr. Iving. Thank you for joining us.
There we go.
I need a back wall like that.
Yeah.
Just plastered with shingles.
Goodness, we are getting some people tonight. Maybe the confusion was a good thing. I don't know. I'm excited. Hello.
And we still have a couple minutes. That's good.
Welcome, families. I appreciate you being here tonight. We're going to give it a few more minutes and before we get started, just to make sure everyone has an opportunity to jump on at 5. So. I like to usually start about 1 minute after, so I like to give an extra minute just in case people have different clock times than me.
Sure.
Hello. Thank you, Ms. Hatsiadis, for being here tonight. Thank you, Miss Ramsey and Miss Simmer. It's always nice to have teachers with us. And hi, Mr. Hatsianis. Good to see you. Mr. Hatsianis, good to see you too. I think that's what I love about Zoom the most with having meetings like this, is that you can have a whole family in one screen, you know? It's really cool that you can have more people that way. And a whole family can participate. I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. Oh. So excited. All right, it's 5:01, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. I am Miss McMillan Barnes, principal of Lee Virtual School, and I'm so happy that you're joining us today. If you were part of the confusion about whether or not we were having the meeting tonight or not, there was a little bit of miscommunication with my boss. Mr. Metzner and I realized we had one person signed up for the meeting, and so we were going to postpone, thinking maybe the storm had created where more people weren't able to show. And then we just then my supervisor said, hey, go for it. You advertise it and it's on your calendar, go for it. So thank you for joining us. Even if it was short notice, I truly appreciate that. And I'm so happy to see so many of you here tonight. Along with myself, there are other staff members with us tonight. We have Mr. Metzner, who is our instructional technology specialist at our school. He really helps me all the time with everything, including tonight. Dr. Iovide, our assistant principal, who also works with me on the SAC, which is this meeting tonight. We have Miss Ramsey, who is our reading coach. So if you have any questions about reading, we have Miss Hatsiadis, who is our 5th grade teacher. And we have Miss Zimmer, who is one of our 6th grade teachers. Let me see, did I miss anybody? Oh, Miss Miss Flannery. She works with our middle school students. So you can say hello to Miss Ramsey. Goodness, I love seeing people come on in. So just a reminder tonight, if you have any questions or anything or comments that you want answered, please feel free to insert comments into the chat. Dr. Iovine and Mr. Metzner will be answering as I go through the agenda tonight. And if not, then they will stop me and say, hey, Miss McMillan, could you answer this question? And I would be happy to. Mr. Metzner or Dr. Iovine, did you have anything you would like to share before we get started?
Well, I'm very pleased with the turnout that we have. Seen a lot of the names. I'd love to. Oh, I see. Got Michelle. I see their faces. I just want to make sure it'd be great to see people's faces. I see the names. I see names all the time on spreadsheets. But sometimes I don't get to see students as frequently as I would like to, or parents. We have lots of parents coming into orientation, which I'm sure Mr. Metzner, I appreciate that. He will share a little bit. But Stephanie, I'm seeing faces popping up, but it's always nice to be present, see that engagement with our families, and not just see a name. So if you can turn on your cameras, that would be greatly appreciated. But thank you for joining us. One of the questions, Ms. McMillan, was, is this optional? And yes, our school advisory council is optional, but I am so happy that you joined us, and Mr. Metzner even put in the chat. It's very important that we're constantly communicating with our families, with our students in a variety of ways, not just over the phone call or email or text, but also with our SAC meetings as well. So you can ask questions and our principal can answer them for you.
Yes, and there's been a lot that has happened since last school year. We had a big summer and now we've had a storm. So we've had a lot of stuff going on, but tonight I'm going to share some of the things that has happened in between and answer any questions that you have about that.
We just had Mr. Daniels also join us. So another one of our amazing teachers.
Hi, Mr. Daniels. We are happy to have you. So I am going to pop up the agenda for tonight. Can you all see it? Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Oh, yay. Good, good, good. So one of the things we need to talk about tonight is we do need to see if there would be any parent in attendance who would agree to be our SAC chairperson. And what that means is basically you're saying, hey, I'm going to come to these meetings and I'm going to represent Lee Virtual School. So if there's anyone here who would like to take on that title, it would be greatly appreciated. We do already have a DAC chairperson and Miss Conway, but I don't believe she's with us tonight. She has graciously volunteered to be our DAC representative, which is the District Advisory Council. If there is anyone who would like to serve as an alternate, if she could not attend the meetings are Zoom. And so it wouldn't require any physical in person, but as someone who might attend in case she is unable to attend. I spoke with her today. She's already going to go to the September 27th meeting. And all the meeting dates are below for your review. So if there's anyone that would like to be an alternate. This year we have added a few extra dates for our parent our SAC meetings. I really like to give you in the moment information month to month. So we have added a couple dates. We added November and we added January and March. Those are always really good dates for us to share new and exciting information, along with answer any questions that you may have about the upcoming months or testing or anything that's going on. So tonight I'm going to review with you the school improvement goals, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about safety clubs and enrollments, and where we stand as a school. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about progress monitoring. And then that will end out our evening. If there is anything else that you would like to know a little bit more information about, please put that in the chat and we'll be happy to share that. So I am going to start with our school improvement goals. Let me get my chat pulled up so that I can possibly see some questions as well.
We're talking about the chairperson position, and there are a couple people who are volunteering for that right now in chat, saying a little bit about what they've done. So we're getting some
Excellent.
information, which is good.
Excellent. Oh my goodness. So we will, Mr. Metzner, since we're recording, will we be able to see the chat in the recording?
Yes.
Okay, so I will reach out to you tomorrow for those who have volunteered, and I'll reach out to you tomorrow and just discuss that with you, okay? Because it looks like we've got multiple people, so I want to make that's really wonderful. It's usually not that case, so I'm so excited about this. Very, very excited. I don't know if you can, let me see if I can make this bigger. Nope.
Just put it in the slideshow. Just hit the slideshow button on the top right.
This is why I need Mr. Metzner.
Top right says slideshow. That'll make it bigger.
Mr. Metzner. Yes, thank you. So the school improvement plan is something that every school has to write every single year. You probably, if you've been to SAC meetings before, you probably have heard your elementary schools or other schools explain what the school improvement plan is. What it is we take a look at the data and we look at our school grade data, and then as the district and school, we determine what are the goals for the year. What are the overall goals that we will be focusing on as a school? So in the left-hand column, you see the categories. Grade 2 ELA, what that means is English Language Arts, which is reading. So we'll be having a heavy focus on our second grade reading, our third grade reading, and then since we are a K-12 school, we also have a whole school reading goal. So we have grades 3 through 10 because those are the only grade levels that use the new F.A.S.T test. So K through 2 uses STAR. And then 11th and 12th, if they have passed the 10th grade FAST reading, they no longer have to take the reading test anymore. That's part of their graduation component. So we will have a grade 3 through 10 reading goal, a 7th grade math goal, an 8th grade science goal, a graduation rate goal. And then we also have three goals that are not necessarily part of the school grade component, but are a component that the state monitors. Well, 2 of the goals. The third goal is a district goal. And I'll explain that a little bit deeper as we get there. The SWD represents students with disabilities. And then the ELL represents English language learners. So let me go. I've got to make it where I can actually see the goals because it's not when
Escape.
when I see people, I can't see the goals.
Yeah.
My screen is
Escape out of
only
the
so
slideshow.
big. So grade 2, last year, our second graders were at 58% proficient. This year, our goal is 65 by the end of the year. So all of these goals are based on end of the year outcomes that as a school we are focusing on. Grade 3 reading last year was at 52%. Their goal is 65. And you're probably saying, why are those goals exactly the same? The reason is because our school-wide goal is 65%. So you have to make those goals the same to match up with the school-wide goal. Last year, we were at 61% proficient with all of our grade 3 through 10 reading levels. So if you were to take 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, all the way through 10th grade and average them, our average reading proficiency, the percent of kids that were proficient in reading was 61%. And the district, I'm sorry, is there a question? Please feel free to unmute and ask. I'm always happy about that. So our overall goal is 65%. In 7th grade math, our 7th grade math students were 43% at the end of the year. Our goal this year is going to be 50. 8th grade science, last year our students scored a 49%. This year our goal is going to be 55%. Graduation rate, we were one of the highest schools in our district as far as graduation rate. We were very proud of our 97%, which is excellent, excellent, excellent. All the teachers and everyone in the office really hustled to get our kids to that finish line. So all of our staff pulled together and we got all of our kids there, except for one, but we are at 97%, which is super, super exciting. So our goal this year is to go to 98%. Our students with disabilities was below a 42%, barely below. And it is our goal to get it to a 42% or higher. The state requires 42% or higher in this category. Our English language learners, it was the same. It was barely below the 42%, but our goal is to be at 42% or higher. The grade 9 this year was a district goal, and one of the reasons for that is because grade 9 is when that graduation clock starts for our students. Their credits and what they take matter from the moment they start 9th grade till the moment they end 12th grade. And there's a lot of different components for graduation that students have to master. The main thing is passing all the classes that they are scheduled into. All of their classes have some type of credit and graduation component that is tied to those classes. So our goal this year is to decrease the number of students that fail a course by 25%. So this was something that when I looked at it, I was not happy that this was our number, but this was our number. And I do not believe that we are alone in this. And I think that's why the district set this goal, is we had 60% of our kids fail at least one course last year. That's not going to get us, those 9th graders ready for their graduation in 12th grade. So as a district, this was an issue across our district. So therefore, it became a school improvement goal for every school, every high school. So are there any questions about these goals? Teachers are aware of the goals. We are working on implementing action plans that we discussed during preschool. In fact, we were supposed to have a professional development with the teachers where we dug a little bit deeper yesterday on Wednesday, but unfortunately we had a hurricane day, so it's going to be postponed a little bit. So, but that is going to be every time we have professional development, what we're going to be looking at and what we're going to be monitoring throughout the school year. Are there any questions in the chat? I haven't seen the chat.
No questions about this stuff in the chat. No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Ms. McMillan, if I can just jump in really quick, because I know that
Absolutely.
you and I talked about this numerous times in our admin meetings, but I wanted the families also to be aware of with the grade 9, but with some of the other goals here. We also took into account Hurricane Ian and some loss of instructional time there. New students, new enrollments that have come to us from out of state, not even out of district, but out of state, where with Florida graduation requirements, they haven't taken their test or their courses are different up north compared to what we have here in Florida. And our teachers within their weekly PLCs look at those barriers, and they are talking on a weekly basis of all these students, the students that they have in class. And then they're also coming up with ways to engage and connect with those students. So we've started off very well. We did have these 2 days, a little hiccup, but getting them back on track. But we are working as a team at Lee Virtual School to make sure that all our students are successful, and we're looking at each individual child. And I know Ms. McMillan and I have talked about it, and as well as our teachers, but I wanted to make sure that I indicated that as well, that we look at it on a weekly basis.
I appreciate you jumping in there, Dr. Iovine. I appreciate that a lot. It's always, once I get on here and I start talking, sometimes I don't fully explain myself, but I always appreciate my teammates coming in to help me out. So excellent. Thank you. So the next thing, I lost my agenda.
I have it here. The school update as far as safety, you talked about the school goals and enrollments, student enrollments that.
Thank you. I found it. So safety, I wanted to share with you that during the first days, if your child attended first days with our teachers, there was a portion where we talked about safety while they were there. When they come in for testing, it is important that we follow the same safety protocols that are at all brick and mortar schools. And so just wanted to let you know that those were discussed with children, with your children. Also, we are fortunate that we have a staff member at our district office. Our technology specialist, Mr. Kavanaugh, qualified to be a guardian for the school district for that guardian program. And he completed it over the summer. And if you come into the district office, you will see him. If you come to our office and need any tech support and he comes out, you're going to see him in a bright yellow-green shirt that says Guardian. Do not be alarmed. He is part of the new safety plan for the district. And I wanted to share that in case, just to let you know that we do have extra protection while at the district office with one of our staff members. My understanding is there were six Lee County personnel members that completed it. And we were fortunate enough to have one of our very own completed. So next up is to talk about enrollments. Goodness. Currently, we are at 820 full-time students. Our elementary window is still open through the 5th, through next Tuesday. that our numbers are higher in full-time than they were at the end of the year last year. Last year we ended, I believe, at 676. So now we're up to 820, which we love adding new students to our LVS family. This year we are really growing our part-time enrollment. Right now we're at 782, but I anticipate that number to increase as well as high schools start enrolling students for some of the acceleration options that we offer. We have partnered with a couple of schools this year who do not have personnel in place at this time, which has been a change in the way that we do part-time enrollments, but we're super excited about that and to be able to help out schools within our district. Also, clubs, we are offering quite a few clubs this year. If you haven't checked out the club page on our website, please do so. One of the things that will be different, we will be offering a few in person, but there is also a club parent permission form that has to be filled out. So for your child to participate in clubs, we will need to get you to complete that form. Just wanted to let you know that as well, that is available. The forms will be located in the Google Classrooms for the clubs. So you should be able to find that information there. All right, how am I doing? Are there any questions?
What if those Google Classrooms are not working? For example, I try to sign up for one of the for the clubs for my son, and when you try to go into the classroom, it says the classroom doesn't exist.
For one of the clubs?
Yes.
Okay, which one is that? We'll get it fixed.
ASL one, the for deaf. Obviously, I have a deaf child right here.
Wonderful.
We were super excited when we saw that one. Because we are a trilingual family, and we were kind of bummed out. We couldn't figure out how to sign up, it just says that there's not such a class.
You know what? So I will just talk to that teacher and see if we can't get that fixed. And I think that word trilingual is amazing. That's really awesome. And I love how you said that. That was great. So if you would type your name in the chat, just so that I know who gave me that question. And when I follow up tomorrow, I can follow up with you on that, okay? I see your name, but I'm getting to that age where I get a little forgetful at times. I appreciate that. Q1 progress monitoring. Okay, so we started progress monitoring this week. Of course, now we've had a couple days, well, only really one day that we were out of school, so we were unable to complete progress monitoring on those days. However, teachers will have updated dates to complete progress monitoring on their announcement pages. We also, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. If you had a specific date or grade level, I can, gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. It's not letting me share at the moment. Okay, there it goes. So depending on what grade level your student is in, will depend on the progress monitoring that they have. So kindergarten is doing their reading September 5th. First grade is doing readings August 29th, which they should have already completed that prior to the 2 days for the hurricane.
It didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Okay. So you'll need to look at the teacher's announcement pages for the updated dates.
Yeah, she sent one-on-one emails that she's
Okay.
gonna be doing them one-on-one.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's good. And then the fast reading for third grade will be on the 5th. And then we'll roll into math, which these will be for first and second grade will be have to be a different date. We have to get information from the state. Hopefully they will be extending the window by a few days. But we haven't heard word on that yet. And then we've got third grade math is going to be on the 7th. That's all for elementary. And when we're looking at middle school, so 6th grade was supposed to be on the 28th. This reading date with Coach Orem is going to have to be altered. And then Mr. Bruni is doing, if your child has Mr. Bruni as his testing teacher, it'd be September 8th. And then we have, if it's Mrs. Moore, it's September 1st. And then Mr. Daniels and Miss Lawrence and Miss Bonadies will have to be changed. And then moving on to math, these are the dates will be adjusted. And then September 6th for Miss Krause. And those dates are, from my understanding, going to continue to be the same. If those are adjusted, we will also let you know. What's important also in middle school is that 7th grade students also have civics. They have a progress monitoring assessment that is on September 6th. And then 8th grade also has progress monitoring for science as well, and that is on the 7th. High school is very similar. Anything that was on the 29th or the 30th will be adjusted. And then math for algebra will be September 8th. For geometry, also September 8th. Miss Guzman, 11th grade, the only test that they have in 11th grade, if they have passed their math graduation requirement and their reading graduation requirement, is U.S. history. And that progress monitoring date is the 6th. If your student is in biology in 9th or 10th grade, they will also have a progress monitoring on September 7th. And then there are other really important dates for the 11th and 12th graders who may have not met the reading or the math requirement. And that is September 11th for the ELA retakes. If the math component is the portion they're missing, that is 9/18. And then seniors only, if they still need to take, will if they do not pass up here, then they would retake on the 20th through the 22nd. Our testing coordinator will be sending school messengers to you. You probably feel like you get a lot of school messengers, but we try to keep you as up to date as possible on the changes and the dates to make sure that children have every opportunity to take the assessments that they need. So that is the end of everything I had on the presentation. Was there any questions about anything that I have shared? Or any questions that I didn't answer that you have? Thank you, Mr. Metzner, for sharing that about the clubs.
Yeah, the big thing about the clubs is we want the students to lead those. And if they have an interest, they just need to find a teacher sponsor. And the teachers are just waiting to sponsor a club for them. So let them know, reach out to that teacher. If it's a specific one you want, let them know. I have a digital design club that's for high schoolers, and there's already 8 kids in it. And we're going to be participating in Digital E this year. I mean, All these clubs, they're right there. So tell your student, please tell the teacher that you want to start this club, and that they're all student led. So make sure that they're aware of that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any kindergarten clubs for little ones? I hear all the big kid clubs.
So whenever we have when we have requests, one of the things we need is a teacher. So
Okay.
yeah, that's always kind of the caveat to clubs is having a teacher sponsor.
Okay.
And so if you are looking for a kindergarten club, I would highly suggest reaching out to Miss Apadu, and I could reach out to her as well. Is there anything in particular that you were looking for?
No, I was just actually wondering if there was anything out there that we'd like to join, but if there's
Yeah.
nothing, then it's okay.
Yeah.
One more question about the exam. The exams you were talking about for kindergarten specifically, is this stuff that we need to schedule with Miss Apadu? Or is this something directly at the school that we need to go and take?
No, this is all remote. So this is something that will be scheduled with Miss Apadu. Yes.
Okay,
And it looks like a few things have been changed. So we need to get out an updated list to families.
okay.
Yeah.
No problem. I'll get with her then for
The
everything
storm
that
kind
you.
of threw everything off, so we're gonna have to look at our schedule again and redo it. And like I said, we also have to wait to see what the state is going to do with the time frame, because that will also play into how we adjust the schedule. So
Sounds good.
um,
Thanks.
I will work on getting that to everyone as soon as possible. Thank you for your questions. I appreciate that. So that is the end of the meeting. Is there anything that you would like to know for the future? Are there any future topics you would like to see in a parent meeting such as this that you want to know more about? If so, just put it in the chat or feel free to unmute.
Most of what I saw in chat were that people were thinking this was a mandatory meeting, and
Oh,
it is
gosh, no.
optional.
It
It's
is
that-
completely optional.
Yeah, completely optional, but it's also really important to know what's going on in the school. And these SAC meetings allow us to give you that information where normally you'd have to call and talk with a teacher, and then maybe that teacher needs to talk to an administrator. It goes through that chain. Here, it's all available for you. And since we added more dates, there's actually going to be more information shared with you than ever before.
Agreed. And so we would really love for you to join us every single time. I try to honor time and try to keep it under an hour. And actually today we're at 35 minutes, which is a good amount of time. But I want to make sure if I'm going to have a meeting with you that I'm meeting your needs. So the things that you would want to know beyond what I think is important, because the way parents view a school and students view a school can be different than an administrator viewing the school, right? And I want to know, what do you want to know? And we are happy to share as much, and I would like to get to know you this way as well. So I appreciate you taking some time to join us tonight. It really has been wonderful to have all of you here. And all of our teachers, thank you teachers for coming and joining us tonight as well.
Just a curiosity question out there. When you guys were talking at the beginning about increasing your numbers in student enrollment and everything else, what do you guys think, or what do you guys are receiving when it comes to the reason why people are not utilizing the virtual or dropping off the virtual compared to actually being in school?
One of the factors that we get a lot is that a lot of families think it is like the Lee Home Connect, which is that that the teachers are on Zoom with the kids all day, every day. And our model was in place before we went before we had the pandemic and before COVID. So this model was in place before the Lee Home Connect model was ever introduced to families, right? And our school was very, very small back then. And since the pandemic, I think more families have found us, truthfully, because our full-time enrollment numbers are larger than they were before the pandemic. So I would say that virtual school is not for every student either, or family. I can tell you that we have families that have joined us this year that at the first week of school, they were like, wait a second, I don't think I can have my kid home this much, or like they don't think about all the little factors that go into it, right? And our teachers are not on Zoom. And the reason for this model is to provide flexibility to the family so that a child doesn't have to be on Zoom all the time. So if a family's traveling, or we have a lot of students who, travel out of state constantly. I was on the phone, like before the storm, with a parent who her daughter travels with this dance company and does different dancing events all across the nation. Well, they can't be on Zoom all the time, so it works for that family. I've talked to other families, they want to be more involved in their children's education, and they want to know what the curriculum looks like, in detail, and be able to work with their children. So I think it's just a matter of understanding the model and understanding, will the Lee virtual school model work for the family? I think that is sometimes the hard part, is fully understanding, will it work for my family? I don't know if I answered your question. Was there more to that question? And teachers, please feel free also, because you work with the families directly every day.
If I could bring one other thing into this, student enrollment. Everybody needs to realize, and with respect, this is the first year that Lee Virtual School has been a choice for every district. It's never been on school choice. It's just been a word of mouth, and find out if find out what you can find out and enroll your kid. So now it has an opportunity to increase as being a school choice for every district, every area, every location has an option for this. So it could be a benefit, hopefully next year, to increase that people see it.
And the teachers, and so I'm gonna also talk about all of my teachers and praise them. They're amazing, and they do amazing things with students. Not being on Zoom with a teacher all day has challenges for some students, but our teachers, once they get connected, engage with your child, boy, children their achievement just soars through the roof. So I want to say, like, our model is an excellent model for families. It just has to benefit the family, and the family understand how to get the most out of a virtual education. And that just comes with talking to us, asking us questions, letting us help you in any way that we can. And Mr. Daniels has his hand raised, and I love when he raises his hand. Mr. Daniels, can you share?
I was just going to say that the way I've always messaged this is that our model compared to Lee Home Connect's model is that we are an active engagement learner model, where the kid has to actively be willing to read the lesson, take their notes, master that material themselves, as opposed to the passive model with Lee Home Connect, where the teacher is doing all of that mental labor, which minimizes how much the child retains. So that's why we learn from mastery with that active engagement. And it's not every child that can take an on-grade level text and process it like that, or who is willing to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels is one of our high school teachers. And he's been with Lee Virtual for a really long time. So thank you for that. Any other questions? And yes, Mr. Messner put in the chat our Facebook. We would love for you to join us on Facebook because we do post a lot of updated information there as well. And we need some followers. So if you're a Facebook person, please follow us.
I'm hoping we can get our YouTube channel back up and running too.
Yeah.
With parent meetings, class meetings, teacher created video casting so that we can have those things available to everybody at a moment's notice.
Dr. Iving brought up a really good point too. We do discussion-based assessments with our students, which that is really that individualized one-on-one time. I would say, you know, in regular brick and mortar classes, yeah, you may be in a classroom with a teacher, but that doesn't mean you're going to get one-on-one time with that teacher on a regular basis. Everything in a classroom is set up to be collaboration. And so especially that discussion-based assessment piece where the teacher is talking one-on-one with a child and really assessing what their understanding of the material is. It is very individualized. And I think that that's one of the huge benefits of our virtual learning model.
I would agree with that.
So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, as a classroom teacher, 26 years, I have never had such an amazing one-to-one with students as I have with Lee Virtual School. One-to-one, individualized, exact feedback that they want. It's to them. It's for them to succeed. We only want them to do better. And they're getting that now. They're getting more of that one-on-one. Some of the teachers, they may feel like, well, all right, I've got 150 kids. You're kind of stretching that truth a little bit, but it's still true. They're still talking to each one of those students.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that in the classroom. You're lucky if you get the hand.
And I'm going to plug live lessons. If your child can show up to those live lessons, I highly recommend, because they are deep diving and going into current material to help your child be successful. And the resources that they post, use all of them. Use all those resources. They are meant to help the child. Teachers, am I forgetting anything? Is there anything else that you would like to share about while you've got a few parents here? No.
I just want to add that we're only as good as their learning guides, and oftentimes it's the family that's setting up the schedule and making sure that students have, or their student or their child has the knowledge, the information, the tutorials on how to do things. I mean, so it's also, to me, the street goes both ways. So thank you to all of the parents that are learning guides, or those families that bring their child to a learning center to have a learning guide. You know, it's really about the partnership. And I think that's the beauty of Lee Virtual, is it's not just a teacher or a parent, it's really the partnership. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flannery. I completely agree. So thank you, learning guides, and thank you, families, because you really are the key to your child's education. So I appreciate that shout out to our families.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So the cutoff date to register for LVS, is it only for elementary or middle school as well?
It's middle school as well. So it's K-8. High school had to shut off at a certain time because they have what is called seat time requirements for high school. But K-8 is open through next Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Do you have a family you might send our way?
Oh, I have a little one that she was cut off in her last year of 5th grade. So they had to take her out of that school.
Okay.
And she was going for 5 years. And she's not very much liking this new school. So
well, good. We would love
so
to
I want her to get familiarized, because I'm like, you're definitely going to be doing LVS for middle school, because I've had such a great experience with LVS. and I like my kid sets his schedule, he gets organized, sometimes he gets behind. I love how the teachers communicate with me, like, hey mom, he's left behind, he has not done such lesson, he needs to report with DBS, he needs to do at least 1 hour a day. I love that, because even with public schools or Lee Home Connect during COVID, I didn't have that type of communications with the teachers. So I really love that about everyone and each of you guys.
Oh, and
You
thank
guys
you
have
so
done an
much.
amazing job with that.
Thank you so much for saying that, because it is true. The access that you have with your teachers is, you know, you can text them, you can do all these things. Like in brick and mortar, that is typically not the case. So thank you for saying that. Great job,
No,
teachers.
you're welcome.
And any final questions or thoughts? I want to honor your time. You have family time right now. That's really important. But thank you for spending some of your family time with us tonight. It was really fantastic, all these questions and having you here. And we hope to see you back here again. And is it October is our next one? Sorry. I lose my agenda. I'm so sorry.
October 26th.
October 26th. Yes. So thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, teachers.